heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So, how's everybody doing this morning? You know, I'm not real sure where we left off in the book because I've been all over it. You know, from back to chapter 1 to chapter 5.
Chapter 4 or the end of chapter 3? I read chapter 4 last time.
It was well, we were on desire.
We were.
Yes, and I thought that maybe we left off, this is my intuition, I think, talking, is that we were going to do an exercise, which is 51 in the big book, and the title of the, is an exercise in trusting desire.
Yes.
Okay? That in this course, we're learning that desire is very good. And it's nothing that we should be ashamed of. It's nothing that we should feel guilty about. But Jesus is talking about how we need to chisel away, basically, the ego part of our desire. And get down to that everything in life is a desire. That God is. And the major desire that is in our hearts and in our souls and in our minds is the desire to express God. And our desire, that God's desire is to only express love. And love comes in a lot of different things in our life. We're not talking about the emotional love. We're talking about the essence, the spiritual essence of love itself. The image and likeness of God in which we were made in. Because in this book, Jesus also talks about that we would never have been born or created from God if God did not have a desire to express more love. And each of us was created to express more love. So then the question comes to what brings you joy, what delights your soul, what makes you feel loved in your life when you're doing it. And this exercise that Jesus gives us here says that there should be 7 times that we go in and not judge our desire and just write it down on paper. You were to say something, Mary Lou?
I don't know, maybe I'll ask you this after class, because it's kind of, I'm reading this book called The Disappearance of the Universe. And in the book, it was 2 ascended masters that visit, his name is Gary Renaud. And it said in the book that, or these ascended masters said that God did not create us. It took a split second of our separation. There was thought. I'm not sure. I'll talk to you after class about that. So it's kind of, this kind of contradicts what he's saying, or they're contradicting that. Have you read that book?
I started to. And the thought that comes to me because in the next chapter, The Keys to the Kingdom,
Okay.
it sort of explains that, which sort of, there was a thought in there that blew me away, that Jesus says that there is no doer and there is no creator.
Right.
It's just allowed.
Because we're all correct. I understand the words, but it's hard for me to wrap my brain.
Yeah, well, that's why
That we
we
really
studied
don't
and not
exist.
say that, just read.
And your
But-
eyes are like, wow.
So So what I thought might really be good is that if we read through this exercise, and if we have time, we'll go through it. If we don't, you know, I suggest that you do it later on today or sometime this week, or before the next class, because I think it would really be good to come back if you need that clarity. You know, what is your desire? And that you want to do in life? What is it that you want to express in life? How do you want to show up in life? And Jesus says, you know, we're basically always concerned about what other people are going to think. And he says, why? What you should really be concerned with is what you think of yourself. Because that's acceptance. And that's part of the journey. Is love just accepts it is what it is. And if we're happy and we're content in our lives doing what we're doing and it brings us joy, then why should we be judging ourselves that maybe we shouldn't be doing it? Just because society says, or our family says, or our spouse says? Whoa, we came here, we all have our own purpose. And individually, something was put in our hearts and our souls to come in and to express love in. I love what I do. I fought it for years before I finally surrendered. And I would talk about it, talk about becoming a minister, but never did anything about it. Because my ego kept saying, oh, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not spiritual enough, you're not this, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, but see, that's the ego, that's the personality coming in and trying to keep me small. And then once I surrendered to the idea and gave up what I thought it should look like or how I should go about it, boom, it opened up. It just opened up. Because I was shaking my fist at God going, well, if this is what you want me to do, then you show me how to do it, because that's it. I drew the line in the sand with God. And God said, okay, Patty, I'm going to show you how to do it. And it came through a way that I would never have thought that it would have come through. I was a bartender. I was sober and bartending at the same time. So I had a connection with God, because every day when I go to work, I would put my hand on the door and have and say, okay, God, it's showtime. And, you know, and I choose not to drink today, so help me. And my first 5 years of sobriety was tending bar. Which they say, you ask anybody in AA, they go, that's unbelievable. Isn't that crazy, right? But in that bar, one day a man walked in, and he was an executive for the Hollister Corporation in the IT department. And we became friends, because it was pretty much your low-life scumbucket bar. Everybody drinks, gets drunk, falls down, you know, just makes an ass out of themselves. Then they go home, take a nap, and they come back like, you know, nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. And we deal with the tradesmen, the unemployment, and the retirees. And this man comes in a suit and tie. And he says, you know, we became friends, and after a while he says, you know, my wife and I are thinking about buying a bar business. Would you like one? And I said, no, I can't. He said, why not? And I said, because I can't do this for the rest of my life. He says, well, what do you want to do? And I told him what I felt instructed to do. And he said, I said, okay. And then the next week he comes in again, and he puts on the bar these cassettes, and it was by Lou Tice, motivational tapes. And he said, and I want to meet with you, and I want your friends at your house, and we're going to brainstorm. And if it was not for Ralph Snodgrass, I would not be sitting here today. I would not be sitting here today. Because he said, I am going to help you with your dream. I'm gonna help you do what you're supposed to do. And I always said to him, Ralph, how do I pay you back? He says, when you see the potential in somebody else, just stand with them and support them. That's how you pay you back.
Now that's divine intervention.
And I love that pay it forward.
And I finished what I needed to finish to get my teacher's license, and he helped me open up a Unity Church in Mundelein, and then all of a sudden Ralph was gone out of my life for a while. And I was in chaplaincy school, and I was having lunch with another chaplain, and she said, how did you become a minister? I go, it's just a long story, I don't want to talk about it. Oh no, I want to hear it, you know. So I tell this story, and the whole time I'm getting this sense, this energy around me that I wasn't real sure. And then after I tell the story, I go into the office and I pick up the patient roster, and there is Ralph's name on the roster. And I went up to the room and I said, Ralph, what are you doing here? He says, I'm dying. I go, no, you're not. He said, yeah, I think I am. And I go, and you've been smoking, Ralph, and you know smoking's not allowed in the hospital. He goes, no, I haven't. I go, you are such a liar. But anyways, I got to be with Ralph for a little bit longer, and he did die. And the thing is that he killed his liver with alcohol. And he was on a transplant list, and I buried him. People come into your life for a reason and a purpose. And it brings tears to my eyes because just the other day, Sierra said, I don't know what to wear to this. And I said, Sierra, let me tell you, you wear whatever makes you feel good about you at this time. I go, that's what my friend Wealth taught me. And then when you have to speak in front of people, you wear the most powerful outfit you ever have so that you feel powerful. Now here I was, just a little barroom girl. And then one day Ralph says to me, come on, Patty, we're going shopping. I go, shopping for what? He says, you got an interview and we got to get you a monkey suit. Let's go. And I was just like, oh my God. And he picks out 3 incredible suits at Marshall Fields at the time. He said, go in that room and put the first one on and come out. I did, and I came out. He says, how do you feel in it? I said, I feel good, it feels good. He goes, it looks nice, go put another one on. Put another one on, I came out. And he says, that looks really nice, how do you feel in it? And I said, I feel good in it, Ralph. He said, good, go put the other one on. Now, 3rd one. And he says, how do you feel in that suit? It looks really great on you, Patty. And I said, I really feel powerful in it. And he says to the lady, we'll take that one. And he said, and you, don't you ever stand up anywhere and speak to anyone or any crowds unless you feel powerful. And if you don't feel powerful, then sit down until you can. It was a great lesson. I'm going to tell you the same thing. And little Sierra said, okay, I feel really good in this one. That's the one you're going to be wearing. So it does show up in different ways, and you know, I would have never thought it would. Any questions, rebuttals?
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Very special. Who wants to start?
Are we just reading, Patty?
Yeah, I think the exercise, because I really think that we need to get this. What do you, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I keep reading it over, and it really does give us clarification on how to sort out what it is. So,
An
take it away, Mary
Say
Lou.
an exercise in trusting desire, right?
Mhm.
Okay. We would suggest that you create a structure by which a second exercise can be practiced that fits into your life. Again, it need not take more than 5, 10, or 15 minutes initially, perhaps 3 or 4 times a week. Eventually, you will be doing this all the time because you will be creating deliberately. For just 10 or 15 minutes, set aside your world. Remember that you need do nothing so the world can wait.
I love that. You need to do nothing.
Relax the body and close the eyes. It can be of great benefit to let the breath become very deep and rhythmic. It relaxes the nervous system and seduces the controller within your mind, the critic that decides what thoughts are acceptable and which ones are not. By the way, the critic is never something you created. It is something you let live in your mind that was made up by a lot of other fearful minds called parents and teachers. As you relax the body and the mind, ask yourself, what do I truly want? Observe the images that come without judgment. Notice the feelings of the body and allow this to go on for just a minute or two. Then pause, open your eyes, and write down all that you can remember. For example, I saw the image of having 47 sexual partners.
Yeah.
Next!
Number 25, I saw the...
Yeah, who wrote this book? Jesus is saying this?
I saw the image of having golden coins rain down upon me so that I had to have an umbrella over my head. I saw huge bowls of ice cream. I saw myself in a boat on the ocean. I noticed that my stomach got tight. Whatever it is, write it down. Then take a deep breath, relax again, and repeat the process. Place the hand so that it rests on the heart. Breathe into it a few times and then ask, what do I truly desire?
Should we all get a sheet of paper out and try this? What do you think? We got paper. We got pens. You got it? Yeah.
Yay.
I also
Because we really do want to get
have
down.
like sticky sheets if everybody
Oh,
wants
this.
sticky sheets.
Yeah, I got some sticky, oh, you got bigger.
She's got bigger ones.
I got
So
pens.
who needs a pen?
I need a
Okay,
pen.
we need a couple pens. And it was interesting because last Sunday I spoke at Unity in Milwaukee, and I said to them, I was giving them this lesson, and I said one of my biggest desires is that I really want to achieve being a multi-millionaire by the time I'm 60. And I said I had to figure out why I really wanted that money. Why did I really desire to have that money? And that's only 2 years away for me. And somebody said, well, do you really believe that's possible? I said, yeah, I really do. I don't have to make it all. I only have to attract it all in some way, shape, or form. And I said, because what I truly desire is that by the time I am 60, I do not want to have any concerns about finances and how I'm going to pay my bills and do the work of God. And that wherever I go, wherever I speak, you know, that I don't wanna have that worry or that concern in the back of my mind. And I know that my desire to preach and to teach and to share with people the journey has come from God. And I truly believe that God's gonna provide for me. And that also that wherever I go, that I have a checkbook that I can write, and if there's an organization or a person that I feel guided to give, you know, money to, whether it's $5,000, $10,000 or whatever, that I can just write the check and not be concerned about it and make a difference in that organization or that purpose or that person's life or child's life. And they said, we will pray that you get that money. And I said, that's what I'm asking for. You know, it could come in through people from tithes, from offerings, from inheritance, you know, from winning the lottery. You know, it doesn't make a difference how God brings it to me, but I have to have faith that God is going to give it to me. Because I am working on that God is my only source and supply. And this is a desire in my heart. And if I can't do my work, then I'm depressed. And I know God don't want me depressed. So I have to be out there and always communing with God inside of me. It's like, where do I need to be? How do I need to do this? How do you want to work through me is really the question. So let's just all take it inward and, no, you can shut that off. Yeah. So let me just put your stuff down on the floor and just, you know, I will take you through